Hello, everyone, and welcome to ForcedToPod episode 30. Boys, I had to look it up. I had to look it up because it's been a minute since I've been on. I've been gone. You guys know that already because Nick and Zach held it down last week. Nick, how's it going today, man?
It's pretty good right now. The Pacers are winning by 3 points.
Okay.
So it's good. This could change. I have I don't know if I'm allowed to advertise alcohol on the podcast. So I have a fine Pilsner beer. It's golden in color.
There you go.
Like the Pacers, they just turned it over though. So we're good.
The vibe's gonna ebb and flow tonight based on the score, but we won't know. We'll just know based off how Nick answers questions and such. So
it'll be all right. We had Reagan got together with some of her teammates from this past softball season at the little local ice cream joint. They just played around for like an hour and stuff. So we had a good day.
Nice.
That's nice.
Good stuff. So Walker, how you doing, man?
Good. We're closing in. We're on the gates, the very precipice of marriage at this point.
Yeah, we're within striking distance, friends.
Yes. Less than 2 weeks now. So got everything
down the barrel.
Mostly sorted.
Yeah. So you were telling us right before we started recording, you got most everything paid. You said you're just trying to figure out the last logistics stuff. So we're
just little things, you know.
So where are you guys both at individually, mentally right now? How's Chloe doing? Because she's in the trenches of med school stuff, and you're in the trenches of all work stuff, and then distance stuff. Where are you guys at? Like mentally?
She's good. I've always known medicine was the place for her, but she's really enjoying it.
Good.
Really, really enjoying it. Her whole thing this summer is very sick children. Genetically sick children. So it's not something I would ever do. But it is, I don't know. She's seems to be flourishing.
Good.
So we'll see if she can pick like the least well compensated specialty on the face of the planet, with all the medical school bills. She is doing her absolute darndest to find the one that does reimburses the least, which is generally a good thing because the ones that morally good perhaps. The ones that reimburse the most tend to be like plastic surgeons, a lot of specialties with elective procedures.
Yeah, but that's also because they're coming straight from the patients. Typically, they're not coming from insurance and stuff of that sort. So it's kind of one of those things when you make the choice to do that. So Heather's specialty, she's right on the line of that. Like orthodontics for children is not. That's something that like insurance has no issue with. But there's the occasion where it kind of gets on the line with Invisalign stuff like that for adults and things of that sort. Usually it gets approved, things of that sort. So that's where some of it comes in. So it's interesting. I follow some guys like on Twitter. They're financial, specifically like student loan experts for reasons, obviously needing to kind of get information on how to handle student loans. And they were talking about there's waves of like legislation trying to go through things of that sort. But I guess right now the latest wave that's come in has essentially is going to squeeze out the primary care docs because they're pushing down the amount that professional students of any type would be able to take out. And so it's kind of like this weird line of like being a primary care doc, if they can't continue to keep the schools open, basically, like it's going to pretty much just go all specialties. And they're like, I don't even know what's going to happen to this subset of doctors. So it'll be interesting for sure. See what comes out.
Let's not make the podcast about the minutia of the changes to the American medical system that are screwing everybody equally.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. I mean, we're just talking, it's just talking about like shifting gates on a lot of that stuff. But I mean, we talked about that last time we all got together too, when we were talking about looking right now at the notes from it. We were talking about like Xbox gaming revenue and hiking prices and stuff like that. Like things are still swinging all over the place, folks.
We're just a fucking hoot, aren't we?
Oh yeah. So Nick, thank you and Zach for holding down the fort last week. How was the experience of you guys doing 2 guys, 1 room pod?
Easy. You know, it wasn't too bad. There obviously are some challenges to overcome in that, like, my children were upstairs screaming. My wife, who can only walk on one leg right now, was hopping. So, you know, the floor is right here. I can just hear when people are walking. I had to rearrange a bunch of furniture that you couldn't see so I had to dig out a very long USB-C cable and an extension so that the microphone and the camera would reach to where I had it. But it was good. We had a good time. Zach came over, and then we ended up working out afterwards. We were lifting.
Really?
Yeah. So, yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, it was Walker. I broke in last week, so Heather's parents were in town, and we were at dinner, and I was driving. So when I got home, I finally opened my phone up and I saw the link in there, and I was like, I bet they're still on it. And I was like wearing all my clothes from going out. I was like, all right, I'm gonna run downstairs real quick. So I was able to break in, and then as soon as I got on, I think the water heater was on or something like
it was probably the air conditioner kicked on.
It probably was, and then I did hear stomping. However, I'll use this as a testament to how good Riverside's AI canceling is. I went back and listened to those parts specifically. Couldn't hear it at all. It did a really, really good job. So I actually was really impressed because I think that shows that mic is pretty good quality as far as catching both of you guys at the same time. So
well, yeah, this one actually specifically is a condenser on both sides.
Yeah,
and so I had it set so because I had it in the middle of us. So that's probably why it was picking up more noise.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had a good time. I think it would be a fun format if I didn't have walls and I had maybe a box with several mics instead of just one.
That's fair.
But whatever. We got 50 followers. It doesn't matter.
I think it picked up. I think it picked up well though, and it is funny what you're talking about. Like right now, I have a literally off to the right of me is like card table. I brought down Heather's PC because I've been doing with all the streaming stuff. She's not played her PC in like 6 months. So I was like, hey, before I dive into a second PC to do like dual streaming, I was like, can I just take yours, reformat it, and give it a shot? And she's like, I don't even know what you're saying right now. I'm like, cool, I'm doing it. So I brought it down here.
Yes.
Exactly, yeah. She's like, I couldn't care less. So she's like, I will literally play Xbox games through an app on our TV. He's like, we don't need a box. So she didn't even care. So yeah, it's amazing how much you can have just off screen and then make your space still look extremely usable.
I'm in the library now. We're good.
Exactly.
Very literate, very well read gentleman over there.
Yep. All right, Nick, you told us earlier today you wanted to talk about something that was extremely niche, and I didn't look into it at all. Do you remember what this topic was?
Is it the link I sent you?
Yes, it was.
Oh, yeah,
it was the link.
Did you watch it?
No.
Oh.
No.
You gotta
we can watch it. Is that something we should watch?
Yeah, it's just dumb. It's the only instance of AI created video that I enjoy.
Okay.
I don't know if you're gonna share it on the stream if it'll come through.
Yeah, I don't know. Walker, could you hear music earlier, or could you hear audio earlier when we were when I was playing something for you through the podcast? Like, remember I was sharing before we started recording those videos?
I could not.
Okay. I don't know if it will show that, but maybe I can just pull it up, and then like if we can't hear it, then we can do whatever. So Nick sent us a link, and it's a link to a YouTube short, and the link says funniest Bigfoot vlog moments of all time, and it is an AI video of Bigfoot walking through the woods. Looks like you're holding
Yeah, he's like holding the camera,
it
doing a vlog.
It just started
it's
blaring in my ears as soon as I clicked into it. So I gotta flip this over real quick so I can actually get it.
It's like the Outdoor Boys, but Bigfoot.
I love that guy. He's so good.
Well, it's way more. It's way more bro-y. It's like if Bigfoot was a degenerate bro doing a vlog. It's they crack me up.
AI has gone too far, probably. I don't know, something about that.
I have no idea.
These are hilarious.
I have no idea if this is going to play through. I kind of doubt it, but we're going to give it a shot here.
Yeah, can't hear it.
Oh, yeah, clearly just AI. Yeah, God, man, it's just they've gotten so good. The AI videos.
There's so many of these. There's ones with like a Yeti, and they're like hanging out together. This one he's drinking.
It's shockingly good. Like shockingly good quality.
Yeah, it is. It's crazy. You'll notice some of them. Little things will happen, like this one. The seatbelt looks weird or whatever because it's AI, but like for the most part, it's just I wish the sound was coming through. They're so.
This is only gonna accelerate. Like everybody.
Yeah.
5 years ago, we didn't even like. Oh, the robots can play chess.
Well, did you guys have you guys seen the comparison of here? Let me see if I can find it real quick. Because I like this topic of like how the actual AI like video creation has come up. Have you guys seen the Will Smith AI like spaghetti videos?
Oh, I remember that one. Yeah.
So there are. Let me see if I can find a comparison here. Because there were 3. Oh, I don't even know if I want to watch this, dude. Like it's just weird, obviously, to see someone like just demolishing like spaghetti just in general.
You don't watch that in your free time?
No, I do not. I do not partake.
You're missing out, man.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
But okay, so I have found a good one. I wanted to make sure I watched it before I shared that because you never know what's gonna pop up. So
the
let me share
internet's
this.
a dangerous place.
Yes, it is. Share this over here. Okay, got it. All right, I'm just gonna reload this real quick. So this is AI from 1 year ago.
When was this video published? It was definitely not one. Yeah.
So this is what it looks like now.
Much
like
better. Yeah. Well, that wasn't quite right.
Right.
Like,
Ew.
I don't think that's. I think that might be real because he's a weird dude. But yeah, it's just kind of a weird, like, we're in a weird space, boys. Like, so for anyone who's not, I don't know if we've actually talked too much about this, but I've been doing a lot more like YouTube stuff, content creation stuff on the side. Not really on the side, just like that's the main thing I've been doing recently. And so with that, I've been trying to just drink from the fire hose, right? Like learning, okay, what are people doing? How are they growing channels? How are they doing stuff? And I'm trying my best to do that. And it's going pretty well. But there's a whole like subset of YouTube that is just like AI slop. Like basically what we just watched with the stuff. However, that's funny. Like that, it's a funny concept that like
right.
You would have like a whole like host of big feet, Yetis. I don't know what the plural of Bigfoot is, but you would just have them in the woods and then they're just vlogging to each other like what they're doing, how they're messing with people, like they're experiencing human things and being in a car and stuff of that sort. I like that's funny, even though I don't know how scripted that is. Like I don't know if someone went in and they said, "Hey, here's the prompting for it," or if they're just like, "Give me funny Bigfoot footage" or something, and then they're just getting lucky with it. But there's so many people that are just, I mean, they're going on and they're just finding a little like corner of the internet and they're saying, "Okay, take these videos." So they're basically downloading all of them, feeding them into some sort of AI bot, and then they're saying like, just replicate this, give me as many of these as possible, and then like whatever is usable.
Give me 14 more of them.
Exactly. So
don't you want to know what's in it? Don't tell me.
I don't get a whole lot of that on there, but there are some, like there's a wide range of videos right now where they're taking music, like popular songs off of like TikTok or whatever, feeding all of those into like these AI generators, like content generators, spitting that out. And then they're taking the song that is spit out once they get something they like, putting that in, and they're saying, generate us like a K-pop star or some sort of like attractive woman or something like that that's just close enough that you kind of could believe it would be a real person, and they say like make it look like she's lip syncing to this, and they just put them over top of each other, and they don't get struck because the songs like they sound like other songs but they're not real songs.
It's just a whatever. Yeah. No, I mean
it's just crazy, man.
Yeah, this is the future. Welcome to the future.
Gross. Hate
where
it.
we live now.
And they get like millions of views on that kind of content, and then I'll spend like, not even lying, I'll spend like 20 hours on a video and get like 10,000 views, and I'm like, okay, that's sick. Don't get me wrong, but sometimes I think I'm doing the wrong thing. I'm like, I could just be sitting there just generating that stuff in like an hour and have like, you know, a couple 100,000 views. I'm like, I don't know, just being proud of what you're making, I guess, is a whole different deal.
Yeah, I don't know. I've resolved to start really learning how to use the AI to my advantage, because I really have not used it much at all.
Yeah.
It hasn't been broadly applicable to the stuff that I'm doing. So
can't feed state secrets into the AI box.
Or like personally, just not, you know,
I've used it. I've used it a little bit to like come up with workout plans before I started the program that I'm doing now. Or at the beginning of softball season, I like used one to create a real basic practice plan for softball, just to have some sort of structure and then variate off of that. But that's about the most I've done so far.
It's good for stuff like that. I spent a bunch of time asking it for like nearest fractions. That was really useful. Actually, I was like, okay, what if I've got like, you know, 738 thou, what's the closest fraction or whatever? Inch fraction, which is like super handy. It's like, well, this one's closest in this way and whatnot, and then you can see what drill bit you need for whatever thing. So yeah, that's how interesting I am.
Interesting.
It is interesting. You just got to tell us what you're doing at work.
It's these sorts of things that like, it's just all the little, I just need to get good at using it for all the little things that I just don't want to do.
Yeah.
It used to take forever.
I think that's the thing, is like, if you can learn how to delegate a lot of the monotonous stuff. So that's actually something I'm trying to get good at right now. I'm trying to optimize. Here's what I'm really trying to do. I need to get better at not looking at screens all the time, because it wears me out, right? Like, there's so much about the process of like creating videos. Like, boys, last week I put out a video that's 26 minutes long. It's like
that's a lot of talking.
Edited.
So yes, fully edited. It has popped off. It's doing very, very well.
I hope so.
But yeah, I mean, that's literally where I'm at, right? Like, I'm like, it has to do well. Like, you hit a certain point where you're like, you reach a point of like no return, where it's like, this has to do well, because if not, I've just wasted literally 100 hours. Like, over like 2 weeks and a day, maybe like 15, 16 days. I literally put 100 hours into this video, and it's just one of those things where like I'm pouring into it, and thankfully it's, you know, it's doing really well, and I think it will continue to. But it's one of those things where I'm trying to figure out ways. So this new video Walker and I were talking about before that I'm trying to get out, what I did was it was like I'm kind of like doing broad reaching ideas as far as like how I would make adjustments to certain portions of the game, you know, things of that sort, and whatever. And so what I did was I went out and I was walking for like 40 minutes. And so I just had my phone, I had my AirPods in, I had the voice memo app on my iPhone up, and I was just recording just stream of consciousness, all this stuff into it. And then what I found is the voice memo app on my MacBook, it does a transcription. It's really, really bad. It's like one of the worst transcriptions I've ever seen in my entire life. And then I took that and I put that into ChatGPT, and I said, can you summarize like all of this? I said, I literally told it in the prompting, like, this is not, you're going to have to figure out what the words are here. But I gave it context. I'm talking about Destiny 2, and, you know, and this is the broad strokes of what I'm talking about. It did a pretty good job, like 75% giving me an outline of what I was doing, things of that sort. And then I have the audio, so I could listen back to parts and things of that sort. Like, that's the kind of stuff I need to do. Because what I would do typically is I'd sit here at my desk, and I would just think about each part, and then I try to type it out, and then I go back and edit it again and stuff like this just to get it all on paper. You know what I mean? Like get it out there. And I think that's the thing is like if you can get to the like for me, if I can get to the creative process faster, that's a good use for the AI stuff. If I'm having to sit there and try to do like a bunch of like outlines and note taking and stuff of that sort, it can be very cumbersome. So
dictating and then just having it summarize and like organize into subcategories or whatever is really handy. Something I'm trying to do more of. That sort of thing. I can't wait for my own personal Jarvis. It's gonna be great. 5 years. Mark my words.
Dude. What's crazy though is Apple, they got in hot water over in the UK because they, with their last, I think it was iOS 18, which I don't know if you guys saw, they're jumping up to 26 now because they're doing like the car model deal where all of their softwares across the board. So like watchOS, tvOS, the Vision OS, everything's going to be 26. Yeah, it's just going to be like a year ahead or like a number ahead of the year or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. With
cool Apple, just more awesome things that you're doing.
Just start over.
Yeah, so instead of 20,
I'm so glad that you're
instead of 25 because it usually comes out in like September is when they roll it out. So I think they're just thinking like, oh, we'll just get a little whatever.
I mean, they kind of do that with cars.
That's what I just said. They're taking the car. No, it's cool. They're taking the car like inspiration there, and that's what
you're talking about the movie.
This is like when somebody names their child something fucking stupid to be unique.
Yeah.
Cool. That's all I have to say about that.
Yeah. Well, not everyone nails it in one. Like, I'm not gonna fully out your name right now, but you have the most outdoor woodsy name that has ever existed in the entire world, and it's like we don't.
It could only be better if your middle and surnames were Texas Ranger, which I mean, as a title, you're not far off.
Yeah, what is the title that we talked about a few podcasts ago that it was like a master or something like?
Oh yeah, I am a certified master naturalist.
That's right. I was actually going to say that, but I thought that was wrong.
No, I have a little name tag and everything.
That's funny.
And license plates, I'll have you know.
There you go. Do you have multiple vehicles for those license plates? No. I thought you were pursuing
about it. Why are you bringing up the Bronco?
I don't want to talk about it. No. I only have one car right now. I'm trying to
But I thought you were
money
pursuing a different vehicle in a different form factor.
I'm always pursuing a different vehicle.
Facebook Marketplace.
Always. I might have a Facebook Marketplace problem. There may or may not be a 110cc moped in Arkansas that's calling my name.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at. You had sent the picture and said that.
Those are sweet.
I'm about to start browsing for like Harbor Freight Predator motors, like go-kart motors, because my my riding lawnmower is about to blow up again because I rebuilt it last year, but with JB Weld and whatnot.
No.
So it's the last time I was using it, it was like down on power. It was shaking real bad. I could hear it knocking.
Yeah.
So, and it's a bad, like the Kohler motors that they put in those Husqvarnas were just pieces of junk. And apparently half the time they just blow a hole out of the side of the crankcase. So I think I've just resolved to buying a newer push mower that's a little bit bigger. And then I'm just going to rip the motor out of that riding one and drop a go-kart motor in there and see what we can do with it. That's the plan.
I saw a whole group of people who had dedicated themselves to making their ride-on lawnmowers off-road vehicles.
Yeah.
Which was just delightful.
Yeah, just get rid of the deck. That's about it. Maybe put some different wheels on it, but like
they had like gas cans bolted to it was fucking hilarious.
Yeah. But they're like fabricating parts.
No, yeah. It was like utterly ridiculous trying to lampoon the overlanding.
The stuff I would do if I had a workshop, but I don't. I have a garage.
Don't rub it in. One day.
Walker has
one day.
We'll get there. So let me ask you this. When you do these larger purchases per se on Facebook Marketplace, how do you actually go about the payment?
I bought and sold the Bronco at a bank. Just like, issue me a cashier's check, and then basically they just hand it to me, and then I hand it back to the cashier and say, please cash this check, or deposit this check.
Sign the title over or whatever.
Yeah, we signed the title over or whatever in the bank, and then it's all on camera and whatever.
That's smart.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I didn't realize that. So let me get at what I'm actually talking about. So I was just literally just talking about Heather's PC, bringing that down here, whatever. And I was going back and forth on, and I still am, but I think it's longer term. I think this setup's actually going to work pretty well at the moment. I was thinking about looking for a new GPU, and then I found a pretty good deal on like a 5080. Ooh. But it's the power consumption of the 5080 is going to be too much for my rig. So it's like,
how many watts?
I don't even remember what the difference is. I'm on a 3080 Ti right now.
Yeah.
But basically I was to the place where I was like, new power supply, new this. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm basically going to get it. Yeah, it's basically going to be built. Yeah. And I have actually looked into, there's some really, really sweet pre-builts, and they do a lot more work into it aesthetically and stuff than I'm willing to do. So I may do that at some point. But anyways, I found a pretty good deal for one, but the dude was like hardcore. He was like, cash only, do this. I'm like, dude, I don't have that much cash around. He's like, well, we can meet at the bank, do this. I felt like I was actually swindling him. Like I wasn't. I was like, I will send it to you, and like I'll make sure you have the money, you can see it, do whatever. But like I don't have a method to go in, like I don't have a bank here that I can go into and like pull out of. And my ATM, I can't take too much money out every day, right? Like everything's done digitally. So I was actually, when I did that, I was like, I need to ask Walker how he actually handles that kind of stuff when you do larger things there. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, that's why I still have a whatever crappy old Bank of America account that gives me no interest whatsoever, is because it's just convenient for if like I ever need to get a check, right? For whatever reason.
Anywhere in the United States.
Well, I have checkbooks, like, like I can write a check, but obviously he's not going to do that for a GPU, and I wouldn't expect him to. But we had the conversation.
And take a personal check for a $2,000 purchase. Yeah, right. Off Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah, no thanks.
The only thing,
honestly, I'm not that dumb.
Actually, that would work if you have like Chase or whatever, where you can upload a photo of the check right on the spot. Be like, okay.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean it clears, though. They like pre-clear it, but then they can yoink the money back if it bounces later. Like it's not.
I mean,
it still takes days for them to verify it. They just give you your money.
That kind of sounds like a Tim Robinson thing. Like he'd be like, "This person paid me how much money?" He just like gave him a check, and he's like, "Yeah, I couldn't get it to work on the phone, so I'm gonna take it to the bank next week." And like it being like a bank holiday or whatever, like having like an extended period of time on the back end. I don't know. I just
get that cashier's check, man. That's how I do it for the vehicles, just because it's like. It's just easier.
Yeah.
Just easier. Maybe I'll buy another car someday.
You won't.
One time.
You won't do it. No balls.
There were some sweet Hiluxes I saw this week.
Oh boy.
None of them had the right engines though.
Did any of them have 50 cals mounted in the back?
Not even 50s. Nah, we're talking anti-aircraft ordnance.
Oh, that's fair. I just feel like the ones I see getting blown up by Blackhawks always have 50 cals mounted in the back.
They kind of do always. They're doing whatever. The greatest truck that's ever ridden across the face of this planet.
So, I don't know how much the details I want to get into, but the company that makes those trucks is a related, allegedly, is related, has a loose relation to the company that I work for, as in they're one of our customers, and my boss's boss was on a call with them. He said one time, he asked him like, "Hey, why do you guys keep selling your trucks in Afghanistan?" They're like, "What are you talking about? We're not doing that." He's like, "Yeah, we see him over there, but everybody's driving one, and they got 4 dudes in the back and a 50 cal mounted on them. Why are you guys doing that?" Like, this is a compliance team, dude. You're asking the wrong people.
No, it's like that. It's like that guy, it's like plumber from Texas or whatever. who had his truck, sold by 3 intermediaries, and it ended up in an ISIS video.
Yeah.
And then it still got like John's
with his
plumbing
brand,
across the side or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh man. And that's how it gets there. Yeah.
I love that there are so many Cybertrucks around me that just have like, it's like they're repurposing. It's like they don't want to admit that they actually have the Cybertruck. So
I know.
So they've repurposed it. Like they've been on Reddit, and they'll be like, I bought this thing before this dude went off the rails, or I knew how crazy he actually was.
No. He went off the rails before the Cybertruck was.
I know, but that's what But that's what people love to say. They love to say like, "Oh, I bought this thing before he went crazy."
For the other Teslas, maybe.
Yeah, and so they've gone on Reddit, they've posted something online, be like, what can I do? And someone's like, well, you could, everyone's looking at your Cybertruck, so just put branding on the side of it and then write it off, quote unquote, because that's what people do too. They're like, wait, if I do this advertising for so much when I drive it and stuff, but.
Oh God, they're just the worst pieces of engineering that I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah,
What are you talking about, bro? Indestructible.
I look at them and they're just warped and patina.
Yeah.
And this is in Texas.
Well, that's why
nothing warps and patinas.
That's why everybody who has one gets it wrapped.
Yep. Yeah, I don't think we have any raw Cybertrucks down here. Nope. They are all wrapped in some capacity.
Man, I feel bad for the engineers who worked on that. Sincerely,
why they got paid?
They chose to do
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Something about taking pride in your work, I guess.
I mean, Elon has the apartheid ties, but I don't think he built those with slave labor.
Allegedly.
Emerald money.
Yeah, slave emerald money.
Yeah.
I know how hard those engineers there work. They work really hard. They work really, really, really hard.
They could work somewhere else less hard.
I know.
Probably could.
Very true.
The stock would probably be doing better wherever else they worked. So.
Yeah, there's definitely some Schadenfreude for that, but I don't know.
Yep.
I don't know. More of those little, I want to see more of those slate trucks. Talking about those little electric trucks. We'll see.
That's the one that they're kind of like doing deconstructed, Tesla basically.
Nothing in it.
Yep, they're like, fuck you. You get
manual roll up windows,
manual
no stereo.
Windows, no entertainment center or anything.
Aren't they like highly customizable where you could bring it up, but at the base level they're like really cheap.
No, I'm very interested. Color me curious.
How do you feel? What's your guys' opinion on Rivian? Like on that side, I know those cars are. We've talked about
expensive
weight. We've talked about
too big and heavy.
They're expensive, but I know they're also extremely heavy.
Not enough cylinders in their internal combustion.
0 cylinders, and arguably there's a lot of cylinders, but maybe not in an engine orientation. I know they're quite rugged. They've got a fording depth somewhere in the 30 to 40 inch range. When they were doing testing for them, I know they dropped a couple off down at Tierra del Fuego and just sort of drove them north for a long time until they got back to the States. So they definitely have the off-road chops.
No, what else does? A 6.2 liter Ford Raptor.
I have never seen a Ford Raptor actually touch dirt in my life.
No, not in person.
Pavement Princesses 2-1.
I've seen videos of them off-roading.
CGI.
No, it was before,
AI.
It came out before AI was popping.
There was it was AI and a Bigfoot, a Yeti was driving.
Yeah. You know what's got the off-road chops? The 22RE 1996 Toyota Hilux. Right-hand drive.
The mountains of Afghanistan or the deserts.
Allegedly. You can drive anywhere you want. Nobody can stop you.
Isn't that the
just
truck?
Not very fast or very fuel efficiently.
In Top Gear that they collapsed the building on and then drove it away. Yeah,
they literally just had to jump it.
Yeah, they put it on top of a parking garage structure or something,
apartment building or something.
Building, raised the building,
demoed it, blew it up.
Everything collapsed down on the truck. They unburied the truck and jump started it, drives away.
Jeez.
Drove it out.
It was all fucked up, but it drove.
It was, the frame was literally sheared in half, and it still started up and drove. The body panels were holding the frame together. Unreal engineering.
That's
They
crazy.
they like tied it down to a pier and let it like float off to sea. I mean,
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
yeah, no, I
gave it a Vikings funeral.
Yeah, they lit it on fire.
Did you speaking of engineering feats in the water, did you see that they're doing I can't remember what it's called. Basically the ocean whatever went to the Titanic. I cannot remember the name of the thing. They did a full documentary of it, and then they did like all kinds of behind the scenes footage of the court cases and stuff around it. And
feats of engineering that was not
for the Titan Submersible.
No, the engineers. I think the engineers were fine. Well, I don't know. I actually need to look up more about it. But
in the I think it might have been the deposition for it. They were talking to the engineer, the lead engineer.
He's
there, and
I told him
that's basically what it is. They said like, what? Tell me what your position was. Is it Ocean Gate? I can't remember what the
I think so. Yeah.
I didn't want to call it that because it felt like I was saying like Watergate. Like that's what they like.
No,
no, they really named it very apropos. They were tempting fate on that
said
one.
Like, what was your position at Ocean Gate? He's like, lead engineer or whatever, principal engineer, something of that sort. And they said like, were you the one making all the engineer decisions? He's like, God no. Basically they just undermined him the whole time, and he was on record saying that he would never touch that thing. Like he would never go in it. He would never utilize it
from the outside.
For real.
It's like freshman engineering level. Okay, I'm sorry. Actually, I don't think I learned this until sophomore year. Apologies. But like, God, like this basic fatigue loading design, like just
don't use carbon fiber. That's
well, okay. It depends on what you're doing. Like you got to do a simulation stuff.
Diving down to the Titanic.
I think they had a clear vision
several times. They made several trips.
They were trying to commercialize it as well.
You could probably go run that simulation right now with a cylinder of carbon fiber, and then put it through your basic ANSYS simulation with the very well understood load at the bottom of the ocean, and see what happens. There's a difference between the max, like the yield strength or whatever, the shear strength of the material, versus there's a much lower limit for fatigue loading, and that's what they were undergoing, right? So,
all right, so we're gonna do a little test here. What prompting do I need to put in here?
Oh, actually, yeah, fatigue limit of carbon fiber sphere
okay, so I mean, I'm cool to ask that. So, what'd you say? Fatigue limit
of carbon fiber sphere at. How deep is the Titanic? I don't know.
The depth of the Titanic.
Oh, yeah. We don't even have to look it up.
God, the AI is so good.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we're going to have to check it. That's the problem. What is the...
It even makes sense.
I don't know if that makes sense.
You'd have to give it a carbon. You'd have to give it a thickness, and you'd have to give it...
Okay, so it's saying we need to consider...
No, that's good. Okay, fine. Yeah. 38.6 megapascal sounds right. What was the tensile strength? What does it say?
500 to 1,000 or 72.5 to 145,000 psi.
Megapascals. That's 1 gigapascal seems low, but I don't know.
We're figuring out how they this is how they made it. They just went into
Chat I want to see. I definitely want to see the source on that. For example,
Yeah. So what I actually wanted to do was I wanted to see if we could ask it how it would go about creating a proper craft to make it down to the Titanic, but we'd have to give it a certain material do we want to have it tell us what the right material would be for the craft? Did we lose Walker?
I thought he was just contemplating. It looks like
I thought he was too.
All right.
But he is highly specific on this, so we may have to wait till he gets back.
I got a question for you. Oh,
he's back.
Okay, never mind.
I'm back. I'm good.
Yeah, I asked an extremely you question, and then I thought you were contemplating it for an awkwardly long amount of time. So I'm going to ask it how. I don't know what prompting I should do. How would you go about crafting, creating? I don't know.
There's a lot of gaming terms.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. I need engineering terms from the engineer that's in the chat.
You want to know how to like build a pressure vessel? This is literally
how do I get ChatGPT to get?
Okay, so the American Society of Mechanical Engineers is the authority on mechanical engineering, and they were founded for the purposes of designing and speccing and approving pressure vessels. This is like the most basic mechanical engineering task.
Okay. So
to design a pressure vessel. Okay,
but not for me. So I need to
figure out. I'm not a specialist on it, but like
I need to figure out how to get to the Titanic, and I'm trying to figure out how to.
This is actually right. Yeah, there's no specific fatigue limit. You need to specify thickness, cycles. Well, okay, it's wrong about the cycles because the fatigue limit is what it's telling you is cycles, right? So you give it a force and mechanical characteristics, and it says you can make it to 10 cycles. You can do that 10 times before you're expected to fail, one time out of 10 or whatever.
Okay, so I'm going to ask
and then for some materials, there's like a force at which you can do it forever. Basically, you can cycle forever and ever and ever. And then for some materials, like brittle materials, it goes down and down and down and down, and then you'll always eventually break. Not always, but.
Did I spell? Okay. Oh, I just put one too many S's in. Okay. So what I'm going to ask.
Things to creating a submersible? Yeah.
Yeah. What if I wanted to create a submersible? Craft? Maybe, I don't know. That could reach.
Just say engineer or build.
That's fine.
Yeah. For example, carbon fiber spheres are at severe risk of breaking unless designed carefully. Did you read that?
Is that what it said?
Yeah, look. However, carbon fiber spheres exposed to 38.6 megapascals repeatedly
for safety use metal pressure vessels, titanium for repeat. Like it literally said it. Like it literally. If they would have just used ChatGPT,
just ask AI. God dang.
Right. Oh, I shouldn't laugh. People died, but I like. It,
yeah, I mean we're not.
It's sick. This guy. It is so negligent. It's beyond negligent.
Yeah.
This is oh my god.
But look at this. Look at this. So,
unreal.
Designing a submersible capable of reaching the Titanic is a massive engineering challenge with life or death consequences. That's the first thing that has in there. And then it requires expertise in marine engineering, material science, pressure vessel design, systems integration, safety protocols, and then it spits it all out. I have no clue if this is
fatigue control.
I think
excellent fatigue resistance. Yeah.
Testing and certifications.
Did they mention James Cameron in there anywhere?
Honestly, yeah.
He's straight up an expert.
Yeah, they should say like if you're going down there, you might as well get some good footage of it. Like
how many like trips down did they make? Did James Cameron and his crew make? Like a lot, didn't they?
I don't know, honestly. Legal and ethical considerations. Yeah.
In summary, critical checklist.
The
hull, spherical titanium, or a certified composite metal hybrid.
Yeah. Spherical is really important as well. Spheres, yeah.
He made 33 dives.
Really?
That's crazy.
Between 95 and 05. 33. Jeez Louise.
Pressure tank testing. Yeah. No, 20 and with a 25% factor of safety on it too. That seems low. That's like aeronautics levels. They do pretty low factors of safety, but for like something like that, screw it. Stick to 2x,
talking about this right here.
4x.
This 1.25x depth.
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. That's what's called a factor of safety. So because we can't account for everything, engineers just love to say like double the force.
It's good. It's good for like a 4. Yeah. I gotcha.
Let's just assume, or like oftentimes when I'm doing my work, I'll say, okay, this is the answer I've got. Now half it. That's the number I'm comfortable with.
Yeah, that's
So,
I mean, we
for like basic calculations, right?
I do that in a lot. I do that with like finances. I do that with planning for trips. I think that's a good way.
It's a great way to operate. And then there's like for serious stuff, there's a whole statistical field of study for like appropriate factors of safety for things.
So
I usually do the thing where it's like, this rope can hold 100 pounds, probably can do 200. Send it.
Well, that's because a really nice engineer put the 2x factor in there for you, for dumbasses like Nick.
So I like these little, this is kind of nice where it continues the conversation at the base. Says, would you like a mock design concept or rough
materials cost?
Yeah.
Yeah. How much does it cost?
$1 million, $2 million.
Oh, no. 100 million.
Just for the material?
For NRE too. Not for materials.
Well, this is a materials cost breakthrough.
All right, let's see here. Pressure hull, 1.5 million to 3.5 million for titanium grade 5 sphere.
Scroll it. Keep scrolling. Scroll. God dang,
what
I
are
was
we
off
looking
by
for?
a couple mil total.
Low end, minimal viable crash.
Yes,
that's what I want. That's
what I'm willing to spend.
No, but this doesn't account for any of the engineering time. Actually, we don't need engineering time. We have ChatGPT. Never mind.
That's true. Yeah. They're gonna handle it for us.
We're gonna have Elon's Emerald engineers do it.
Viewport's optional. Nice.
Yeah, viewport's optional. Lighting and cameras. Yeah, we don't even have James Cameron's day rate in there because we're sending him.
James Cameron's day rate. Cost to hire James Cameron to go to the bottom.
What
of the
is
ocean.
his? What's his rider for?
Yeah, $2 million engineering time. Yeah.
Oh yeah, hidden costs as if we didn't understand that we were going to have to. Can you imagine? There is no shot that it only costs $250 to $500K to insure.
To insure that? No way.
What?
Yeah.
Insurance, maybe like your accidental death per person or something like that. But even then, I work for a financial technology company, and my accidental death and dismemberment policy is like $650,000.
Yeah, non-negotiable need for material testing and regulatory oversight. So honestly, the AI is probably pretty poisoned by the OceanGate stuff.
Yeah,
frankly.
Yeah. Well, see, I mean, it literally lists it here.
No, I know. It's yeah.
The OceanGate Titan was a lower cost example, 10 to 15 million project range total, but its failure highlights the non-negotiable need for material. That's all. I mean, that is pretty interesting that it,
I mean, if you were trying to do a project like this that's a pretty solid list of at least the super categories you'd need to tackle. Like, obviously there's a ton of other things, but
maybe when I build my race car lawnmower, I'll use AI. See how it gets me going.
Do it. Tell us. Yeah, ask what the best engine to retrofit into your lawnmower is for maximum horsepower.
I mean,
are you gonna put a turbo on it?
Maybe. I don't know.
You should do it.
I hadn't put a turbo on your lawnmower, but yeah.
The one thing that I think is a little scary with all of this is people have started using this as a search engine instead of, and rightfully so. I mean, Google has completely crapped out. Like, it's so terrible now, but
Google is so bad.
Yeah. I mean, they're working towards active change in the Google ecosystem, whether that's Chrome getting spun off or something of that sort. But I don't know that it's even going to matter. They just take everything and they just push down the valuable stuff, so people have to scroll further, and it's crazy. So
just bang it.
Man, 10 years ago was the peak of the internet. Back in my day.
2015, you think was internet peak? Well, maybe.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah, 2016 was pretty good.
When were we in the trenches of Vine? That's what Heather would say.
That was like 2014.
Yeah. That's
2013?
That's what Heather would say. Like, that's when she would.
I do miss Vine. I don't know if I'm just fucking old.
Did you guys interact with Yik Yak? Did you guys ever mess with that, like on college camp, stuff like that?
Boy, did I.
I did have to explain to my child the other day that I was there when Snapchat was created.
Yep.
And
you're all older than Google.
She's 13.
Just in case you're wondering.
She's 13. She's like, "Can I get Snapchat? Nobody texts anymore. They all use Snapchat." I'm like, absolutely not. I know exactly what happens on Snapchat. I was there when it was made.
Yeah. Yeah,
I was molded by it.
We know the dark arts.
Yeah, I was there, Gandalf.
Yeah, it's insane, like the staying power of some of these things. I remember when I think I remember it was either like sophomore or junior year. for Heather in undergrad when she was at Butler. We were walking through like after moving her in or something like that, and they had this new thing none of us had ever heard of before. It was like this black backing, like a like they had kind of like the stanchion behind the table or whatever. They had like all the goodies up front, and it was this thing called Uber, and we had no clue like what it was. Like, I mean, I don't know. It's so indescript, and they're just handing stuff
Uber?
out to everyone.
What does it mean to Uber? Yeah,
and they're like, get our app, do all this stuff, and we're like, is it messaging app? What is it? And they're like, no.
What do we Uber? How do we Uber? Yeah.
Yeah, they're just trying to figure it out, and I just think back and I'm like, that literally was the first interaction I ever had with Uber. But they were boots on the ground. There? Like, I think sometimes we don't realize like how, like, you kind of just think it's an overnight success, but these companies, like, they'll work their butts off, man. Like,
I was working in college at Staples when Uber first like started popping, and I literally had a guy come in like to buy office supplies or whatever and gave me a car, like a coupon, like a business card for a free ride. And I was like, what the hell? Like, strangers are just picking it up now? Like, what's going on? And then we started using it. We're like, oh, we don't have to walk home from the bars anymore.
Right. Yeah. It's kind of crazy that concept of like starting a business and then being in those early days where you basically have to give it away forever. Like, it feels like it's going to be forever. You give it away, and then you try to find that like that breaking point where you're like, okay, we have enough people now, we can try to start making money. Netflix has actually recently reached that point, and they have continued this upward like trend. And I don't know if you guys saw recently, like Warner Brothers is splitting off, like TNT Sports, Discovery, like all these things. So I was listening to some sort of podcast, and they were discussing this. I guess the guy that used to be the CEO of Warner before this, like David Zaslav or whatever the current guy is, they kept him on as an advisor, but continued to basically pay him what he was getting as CEO. So he was getting like $45 million.
A bazillion dollars, I'm sure.
So he's the one who advised them to make all the purchases that they've done. He's the one that advised them to blend everything together with like Discovery and all these things under one. He is now the guy who has, and they continue to pay him like this rate every year as an advisor. He has now turned the corner and advised them to split it off. Like, he's just getting paid millions and millions and millions of dollars each year. And that's not even Zaslav. Like, they came out and voted, I guess, like shareholders had a meeting, and they voted, 59% of them voted against his pay package or whatever for the year.
Oh, right. Yeah.
But that's all, it's just for show. Like, they don't have to, the board doesn't actually have to honor that in any capacity, right. Stuff of that sort. So it's just interesting. Like, you know, you get to that level, it just doesn't even matter. Like, when you get to a company like that, it's like, well, you're either going to be wildly successful, or you're going to be terrible at it, and then you'll just get out with like a golden parachute situation.
Millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Must be nice.
But never be possible to be held legally accountable for any of the actions of the company either.
You might be held accountable in the streets. It seems like it's
one.
It's happened once. It could happen again.
Yep. So, yes, it has. So, anyways, that was a wild ride where we kind of went to nowhere. But guys, I think the general gist of it that I had was like, it's just nice to be back.
Yeah.
Chatting.
And you guys are gonna be going next week. It's gonna be.
We are
right back.
I gotta do something. I don't remember. Maybe I think I might have to go to Italy.
You traveling?
You should.
Are you guys traveling next week?
I am. I'm traveling.
Can we hear about it?
It's a little hot this time of year, but
Mamma mia.
All right, I do have one random thing that I thought of today that I want to end on. I feel like this would be good.
Dangerous.
Literal and figurative palate cleanser.
Okay.
I was eating Goldfish snack crackers. I want to know how many Goldfish you guys think you could eat.
One, no shot. He's got Goldfish.
Old Bay.
Nice. I got my Old Bay Goldfish right.
I would have been
here,
ready.
Dude.
We could have done this live.
No,
please.
No, because I'm sure that it's in 4 figures is how many Goldfish I could eat.
in one sitting.
Sorry. I thought you were talking about how many
goldfish pieces. How many do you think you could eat? Because they're very small, and you think, I could eat 6,000 of these, but that's a fucking lot of goldfish.
Yeah.
So it looks like there's 250 goldfish in one of these bags. So 270, call it.
I could see.
You think you could eat?
I was going to say confidently 1,000, but 4 bags of goldfish seems like a lot of goldfish.
That's a lot. I think I could eat a bag, and then I'd start feeling bad, and then I don't know how much further I could go.
Right. This is why I wanted to bring it up, because
that feels like
I
thought you were asking originally.
They're good.
Yeah, I'm sure they are. I thought you were originally asking how many I could fit in my mouth at one time. I was like, we could have done that live.
1,000.
But yeah, 1,000 of them.
2,000.
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. I mean, I would say confidently 30, maybe more
at one time.
Yeah.
Ooh, 30 seems like a lot.
I feel like one of you guys is like perfectly prepared to give it a shot, but he's not going to do it. So
I'm not wasting my Old Bay goldfish on this nonsense.
That's more why it's not that you're above actually doing that challenge. It's more that you wouldn't want to rush having a.
We've got some regular goldfish. Maybe I'll record a clip this week. See how many regular goldfish.
You got to make people pay for that sort of thing, Nick.
Yeah, I'm gonna start OnlyFans. Only fish.
Only fish.
Only fish.
What?
Plenty of fish in the Nick, maybe.
I asked Heather. I asked Heather earlier today. I said, "Do we think that Red Lobster in Maine is like better or worse? Like, do you think that
they do so badly?"
Right? I was like, do you think that every other restaurant just takes all the good lobster?
You imagine vacationing in Maine, be like, oh. They got endless shrimp this week.
Lobster? Yeah. No, we have them. I remember driving past a Red Lobster and thinking, like, as a kid, why the fuck is that there?
Right. Yeah.
So, but have you ever been to one in Maine?
No. Why? As a proud native Mainer, because I would not be caught dead stepping into a Red Lobster.
They could have the good Maine lobster at the Red Lobster. Where you think they're getting all their stuff from?
No, they don't.
Maybe.
There's no way in hell that they source it from Maine. There's no way.
I don't know, dude. I don't know. That's what
you've never been.
Yeah,
can't trust your opinion.
The reason I thought about that when you brought that up is you said Old Bay and they have the Cheddar Bay biscuit. So are you telling me you've never been to Red Lobster, or you've never been to a Maine Red Lobster?
No, I've never been to a Red Lobster. Why the fuck would I go to a Red Lobster?
Because you live in Houston, Texas.
Yeah,
you guys have Maine Lobster in Houston, Texas.
No, I wouldn't buy lobster outside of Maine. Mostly just because it's not worth the price, honestly. Like. You're like, well, okay, at home I could get this lobster for like $5, $4 or whatever.
Right.
Like, why would I pay $30 for this? It just feels wrong,
Yeah, I'm not sure I want to go through the effort at home to it feels nice when they bring me the good tools and stuff, but I'm not buying the utensils.
We had the good tools in the drawer at home, just in case you're wondering.
You never cook lobster yourself?
No, I haven't.
It's not hard.
Yeah, I didn't.
No, they die really easily.
Yeah, it'd be hard looking it in the eye.
The ethical way, you dispatch them before you put them in the pot. But yes, they still die really easily.
Well, gets a little hot tub party. Do you do the thing where you turn it up?
I definitely kill them beforehand. Yeah.
It's the right thing to do.
It's just the right thing to do. I don't know. The lobsters, that was a little rough. Not octopus is so much worse. I don't think I can eat octopus.
I've told my friends several times that's my hard cut. I don't eat octopus anymore. I don't know, because
why
I feel bad because
they are borderline sapient, honestly.
Yeah.
They're way too
like
smart.
How smart they are.
Yeah, but like
I eat a dolphin though, for sure. They're assholes.
And then the argument I always get is like pigs are smart, but like if they were that smart, they wouldn't be that good tasting. So.
Pigs are really. I don't know if pigs are as smart as the octopuses.
No, they're like dog smart. But then that brings you. Would you eat a dog? Like, I don't know. Maybe I've never been presented with the opportunity to eat dog, but I'm not gonna eat my dog.
It's true. I think it's very impressive when you have like an octopus inside a closed lid. Have you seen that? Like where it's like a closed jar or whatever, and then them being able to
get in through it and get out. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're really smart.
Yeah.
They're aliens.
They honestly,
basically, yeah.
closest thing I think we got. So, well, y'all, this has been a winding road. Thank you for thanks again. Shout out to Zach and obviously Nick for
Zach
facilitating last week. Let me crash it on the back end and pulling that off. And so,
I was just gonna say.
And then
nice.
Yeah. And then, thank you guys for being here. Appreciate you for listening. Continue to do that. And, have a great week. And we'll talk we're talking after the wedding. That's what we're probably
sometime
in our full trio. Yeah. Sometime after the wedding.
Might
we'll do
cook something up next week while y'all are busy, but
get something rolling. So appreciate you guys. And, till next time.
Later.
Adios.
Peace.